good gaming morning to you. Whether you're tossing dice, flipping pages, stroking that brush, or mashing them buttons, we have your six on all things gaming. My name is Mike.
I'm Eddie.
And we are Basement Quest, bringing you all things gaming and all things fun, especially being a Saturday. We hope you're gaming today. So today, we're bringing you some 40K news. And more importantly than that, one of my favorite little factions. They started off as what most 40K would like to call a sub-faction. You could include them into most of your Imperial Guard or your Space Marine factions. I am, of course, talking about the Adepta Sororitas, also known as the Sisters of Battle. Now, we had a coming out. They gave the announcements that the Sisters were coming out around this time last year. And for those of you who have been doing 40K for a long time, you know the Sisters have always been metal models. The metal models are just a pain in the ass. They're a pain in the ass to paint. They're a pain in the ass to
two like primers. I think,
yes, and then they were just destined to chip. No matter what, if that thing dropped, forget it. You like a chunk of your fantastic paint job would just go rolling off. So they are incorporating these new fantastic plastic models, which we talked about not so long ago in the 40K episode before. Warhammer or Games Workshop, as it be, has made these new models and these new sprues multi-task. So you can literally get, like I said before, if you get if you're doing Tyranids, you could pick up a box of gaunts, and you're allowed to either do Hormagaunts or Termagaunts with those. Whereas before, you would have to either buy a box of Termagaunts or buy a box of Hormagaunts, and the bits were just, they're now they got it spot on. They got it absolutely spot on. A little background on the Sisters of Battle. If you guys don't know who they are essentially just that. They're Space Marines, but they're entirely all women. And they pretty much knock off every negative aspect. Usually in a fantasy setting like this, you see women space bikinis, you know what I'm saying? Yes. All this skin showing, and that's how they are, you know what I'm saying? No. These girls,
these are warriors done right.
Exactly. These women have power armor, and looking at it twice, you wouldn't even know that they're women. Their face masks are fucking beautiful. They all have that Cruella de Vil like short white hair. They're essentially battle nuns. They live by a specific code. They're very honorable. They're in with the Inquisition more than anybody else. They're trusted more by the Inquisition than even the Space Marines, which says a lot about these guys.
Yes, there is no swimsuit edition in the Imperium.
There is one thing I will say, and that's they're called the Flagrants. And what they are, yes, they are literally thrown out there nude and stuff like that. But there's a reason for that, because these are Sisters of Battle that have failed. They've somehow brought shame onto themselves. So they are stripped of their armor. They're stripped of everything else. They're completely covered. And the new models, which I have pictures and stuff, we're going to be throwing out there. They are gorgeous. So they take their sight away. I think they take their mouth away. They take away everything that makes them a sister, and they just put them in these chains, and they just come running out, just trying to salvage whatever ounce of honor they have left. And if they survive, then maybe they can rejoin the ranks again. But 9 times out of 10, they usually die. They usually, get their end all be all of being there. But I've loved the Sisters of Battle for a long time. I've hated that they've been metal models. And you being a Space Wolf player way back in the day,
They're
know
all metal.
Exactly.
Except for the arms.
Right. Gluing plastic to metal is not fun, man.
Well, no, it's not fun. Getting that glue, you need to do it stuck to your fingers. As you know, I had a pretty crazy gluing session, get my little paper models together, and that stuff, which is like an acrylic plastic on plastic type glue, is a pain in the neck to get off your fingers.
Right. No, you get to chisel that shit, man. You're like taking a couple layers of skin off.
It's really potent too, because I felt myself getting intoxicated as I was gluing. Like a happy day.
Yeah. And those fumes are just kicking up.
Yeah. So the glue they use for these, I forget what it's called. Is it it's not the acrylic glue, the plastic on the pewter.
That stuff. No, well, if you're doing plastic to pewter, no, you almost had to do the super glue. You had to do something like that, or like a
yeah. That was
because the cement
too.
Didn't work and the acrylic stuff didn't work. No, it was the super glue and that stuff because the plastic was literally melting to the metal, dude. So the fumes you were smelling was melting plastic.
Yeah, that's what this glue was for the paper miniatures I just did. It kind of bonded the plastic together, like kind of melted the plastic a little bit. It's like it was really solid when it was done, but woo.
Yeah, no, it's you're walking away from that like,
hey. You could squirt that into the DeLorean and go back in time. It was like that. It was like that potent.
That's some great stuff. Yeah. So to start this, I found a really cool video.
Oh yeah.
And then we're gonna play this for you. And
we're gonna give you our feedback on it.
Right, exactly.
And, this is from Warhammer TV.
Mm-hmm. And some fine guys. They're always great. Not only that, keep in mind that these are new models that they're representing here too. So everything that you see is part of the new line.
Yep. So
all right. Yeah. So we're gonna break this down for you. Here we go.
There it is. Warhammer 40,000. The Sisters of Battle are here.
As we said, you've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this for a very long time. I mean, these models are absolutely beautiful. They're gorgeous, man.
As with most things, when it comes to the Imperium, it's almost very
Gothic,
Catholic looking.
Yes,
especially
the sisters.
Roman looking. It's very
bingo. Oh yeah, and their face masks have that very strong Roman.
That is amazing.
Oh, the new sister just came out too. She's I think her name was Rachel
11th,
something.
So the 11th of January, you can start pre-ordering. So you can pre-order now,
and you can get those. As a matter of fact, go to our website right now and go on to Amazon. They have a starter box there already. Order from there and give us a little bit of love and go on to it.
We'll get some links to stuff I've been kicking around, creating a page for anybody who's want to get started in these games. I'll have everything laid out on that page for you. Obviously gives us a small commission, but you don't have to go searching for everything.
Right.
I'll link to the books right there. Boom. So if you want to start your Warhammer game, you want to start your D&D game, you want to start your Palladium game, or a game that we're gonna looking to do with Delta Green.
Well, I am. I want to sink my teeth into it. By the way, once again, if anybody has tried that Delta Green, totally want your feedback on this because or even the Call of Cthulhu. Like we want to hear. Like how is the system? How is it? You'll break it down for us. I would love to hear it, or even have you on the show.
We want to jump
Contact
into it.
One of us. We would love to have you call in and break it down for us. Pathfinder too. People out there doing Pathfinder. We would love to have you guys give a call in.
Yeah, right now I've heard people are not too happy with the latest edition. I want to hear why. So definitely chime in, or if you want to contribute some like articles or something to the blog, hit us up.
Yeah, exactly. So this is now the 8th edition of 40K.
Yes.
We don't want to talk about 7th edition. None of us anywhere want to talk about 7th edition. It came like a strong fart in the wind, and it left just as fast. We're all happy it did that. But with this new 8th edition, you're actually allowed to take factions and cross factions as long as they're allowed to be there. Like, obviously, orcs ain't going to be hanging out with Eldar, and Necrons ain't going to be hanging out with, No,
you got to be realistic.
You got to be, and it actually does break it down. It'll say, well, these go with these, and these go with these. But there's a certain way that you have to do it. The Sisters of Battle, I always felt like when they first brought these women to the table, they were just that. They were like the squats. They were like the dwarves, you know what I'm saying? They were just something that you added to the IG to add a little bit of flair. Yeah. And at the time, I want to say it was 5th edition when the sisters first came in. Correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say about that. But they were also big with Inquisition at this time. And Inquisition used the bigger models and stuff like that. They're really beautiful, really nice models. But it really brought out that Inquisition storyline. And this is where the sisters really came from. And then fast forward to where we are now, and they literally have their own army. And their own army in itself is incredible. Much like the Grey Knights, I feel kind of got the shaft. And the Grey Knights are supposed to be like the holy warriors of the Space Marines. They're like the Inquisition's right fist. when the Grey Knights come down, you know that they're there to destroy.
Almost
shit.
paladin.
Bingo. Yeah. Whereas the Sisters of Battle are like the battle nuns. You know what I'm saying? They go rushing in there before the Grey Knights even get there.
Stop for a second and just think about how cool that is. Battle nun.
Yes. And they are.
You know?
They're like Space Marines, but to the next level.
But these nuns aren't packing rulers.
No, they have the bolters, just like Space Marines. They have the bolter. They have all kinds of really cool. So I actually go to this one guy, and it is I got to give him some credit because it's Knights at the Game Table, and he's one of the best places I like to go to for some of my new information because he literally breaks it down for you. Like, he gives you everything coming into this. So the Codex you've been waiting for is also known as Witch Hunters, the Sisters of Battle. They're such a cool, such a cool, like I can't blow them up anymore. I mean, these are literally Amazonian warriors built. And the thing is, like, so Space Marines are genetically modified. And the Sisters of Battle
bond with their armor.
Right, exactly. And the Sisters of Battle, they're not. They're kind of brought up much like Wonder Woman in these tribes, and then brought up through the ranks. So they're more human, like almost in an IG sort of way. I mean, obviously they're super.
It's like the Space Marines are Ivan Drago, and the sisters are Rocky.
There you go.
In Rocky 4, Drago's juicing up, and Rocky's lifting wheelbarrows and wagons and stuff, climbing up mountains, screaming Drago.
So it's
spoiler alert.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah. If you haven't seen Rocky 4, big spoiler alert there, guys. So with 8th edition 40K, I know you've seen a couple of the things. You really haven't played it too much yet, and I'd love for you to come on over and really, because I think you'd like it. Every army has special rules. They have command points now. They have special things that make them unique to everything. The Sisters of Battle, of course, are no exception to this rule. They have pretty much, this is for your army pretty much wide. Now, keep in mind, if you are using like Ultramarines and Sisters of Battle at the same time, the Ultramarines will have their abilities and the Sisters of Battle will have their abilities. They don't cross because these abilities are only for quote unquote Sisters of Battle, and they'll have keyword sisters, keyword faction, keyword this, and these are the only people that get these bonuses. So the first thing you get to look forward to are some of your new special rules. The Acts of Faith, it's a miracle dice. I'll cover miracle dice generation in a second and how this works. But essentially what you get to do is you get types of actions to perform a faith on. Advance rolls, charge rolls, deny the witch rolls, which is deny psychic abilities. Hit rolls, wound rolls, savings throw, damage rolls, or morale tests. These are all ways that you can modify it. This is just a test of faith. Savings throws, that's big. So you have Terminators or something like that. I know they have like these walking pennant machines out there, and I think they might even have like a AP2, which I have the stats here. I'll find out. You can make that a better AP and raise that to a different thing. So it makes things completely. And a lot of your factions will have this, but the Sisters of Battle are different, and I'm going to tell you why right here. Miracle dice. You're going to want as many miracle dice as you want to get your hands on. Easy enough. There's one warlord trait. You can get the whole miracle dice and stuff like that. But this is how it works. Vengeance, kill a unit. Sacrifice, a character is destroyed. Purity, pass or deny the test without using an act of faith. So the act of faith, like we talked before, I can add dice rolls to deny the witch. If I don't do that, I can actually get a miracle dice back for this. And then, of course, the Shield of Faith. Models that have a 6+ invulnerable save. So that's never you can, as long as you roll a 6, you're passing. You're pass. Yeah. It's nothing takes away. Well, there are things that take away. Like some things do take away invulnerable saves. And some things, but some.
Now, most of Warhammer is still with D6s, right?
Yes, it is still a D6 system. Yes, so. Absolutely. It's very simple, like we said before in the 40K episode earlier. It's a very simple system. It's as long as you get the pack of 36 D6 dice and you're good to go. Like that's all you're gonna need. We, as players, will use the 20-siders, 12-siders, 8-siders, and 4-siders for wound markers. put them next to the tanks because tanks will have
Makes
14
sense.
wounds. So D20, boom. Another tank has 12 wounds, D12. Boom, put those out there. That's a good way that we use the dice. But anything else than that, no. It's usually just the 6-sider. Order of Conviction, Saints Battle version, pretty much is tactics. It's the same idea of a Space Marine. Order of Conviction is like when the Space Marines have their Space Marines they shall fear nobody. It's pretty much a re-roll of your morale check. You fail the morale check. Oh, let me just take my real. Pretty much Space Marines and Sisters of Battle don't run away from nothing. There is really no more. I mean, there is a Fearless. I'm pretty sure there's a couple units out there that are Fearless, and that just means they never take a morale check. They just take fucking models away. Berserkers, I believe, are still like that. I'm pretty sure zombies, they're Fearless because they're dumb. But that's how it pretty much works. But Space Marines, they always have that they shall know no fear, and the Sisters of Battle are pretty much the same way like that. The Sacred Rites, this is the reward for the pure Adepta Sororitas. So in other words, if I decide to run an entire Ultramarine army with no other faction in there, you get this special bonus, and it's the Ultramarine special bonus. It pretty much lets you re-roll hits and misses. It's disgusting. It's stupid. But that's the bonuses. For them, they have the same thing. If you decide that you want to make a straight Sisters of Battle army, these are the bonuses that you can look forward to. The Hand of the Emperor, you get +1 to advance for your charge rolls. Spirit of the Martyr, when a model dies on a 5+, that model can either shoot one of its ranged attacks or make a melee attack if they're obviously in hand-to-hand. That's it. You got somebody with a power fist and they're making that last attack, or a melt-a-gun on a tank, last-minute fucking ditch effort. Pretty fucking nice, dude. Aegeus of the Army, +3 to deny the witch test. That means, so how Psychic works now, just to explain to you, and some people that might not know in the 8th edition, is I choose a power, and I need 2 dice, right? You roll two dice. And sometimes you might, Eldar get 3 dice because they're fucking cheesy Eldar. That's just how Eldar.
Well,
but normally,
they're a psychic
yes,
base
right,
race.
exactly,
So, yeah.
exactly. So normally it's 2 dice, but even if it is 3, you take the 2 best, right? So say I want to smite your ass, and I need a 6 to smite your ass. I roll a 7. Now, I want to deny that because I don't want it to eat a smite. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a mortal wound. Or it could be 6 mortal wounds if you roll above 10. So, no, I don't want you to do that. So what I do is I roll my 2 dice. With this, I get a +3 to that. So if I roll a 5, that's an 8, and I just beat your smite. That's how good these guys are going to be at anti-psychic. That's why they're called witch hunters. They're going to deny these psychers. They're gonna put a hurting on these psyker units. For your Eldar people out there that are just pounding you with psychic abilities, the Sisters are going to be a very good battle for that. Any of the, obviously Tau, not a psyker army, they're a shooty army, so that wouldn't benefit you much there. Some of the Space Marines, if you do one of those battles, Chaos has got some big Zinch army, huge freaking psychers. Bingo, you got that out there. Divine Guidance, I like this. I think this is going to be one of the ones that's overlooked a lot. Ranged weapon attacks improve AP by 1. Unmodified rules of 6. So most bolters have an AP of 1, I believe. No, I think it's 0 unless it's a modified one.
2.
No, back in the day it was. Now
Okay.
it's 0 unless you get something ones, but it could be a modifier of 1. This one automatically takes away 1. So even on bolter fire, you're taking armor penetration. So if they have an armor of 6, they're not getting no save. There is no roll of the 6. They're automatically pulling away. If they have an armor of 5, now they have to roll a 6. So, and that's any ranged weapon. So if you have a las cannon that has an armor penetration of 3, now that's a 4. That's
very nice.
That's pretty big. Like I said, I think that's going to be one of those ones
I think I might be sold. So I
and
might
of
be
course,
pre-ordering.
Of course, with the Divine Guidance, you have to have the Passion, which is just the opposite. It's the unmodified melee hit of a 6. Ooh, that it actually isn't the same. I was rereading it. An unmodified melee hit of a 6 scores an additional hit. So if you're rolling, say your main Chica's got 5 attacks, and you roll, and you get a 6, that's another hit. Obviously, they don't continue to grant additional hits, but if those are all 6s, those are all additional hits. So you can have a pretty nasty force on that battlefield. And, of course, Light of the Emperor, which we talked about, is the They Shall Know No Fear, can re-roll failed morale checks.
So this has become like a well-rounded military force.
Yes, like the Sisters of Battle, they put a lot of thought into this. No, they've done a really, really great job. So the Space Marines, they have their orders. Well, the Sisters have their Order of Convictions. These essentially are specific factions of the Sisters, much like you have the Blood Angels, and much like you have the...
Well, they call them chapters.
There you go. Bingo. Yeah. Right. So with this one, you have our martyred lady, the Blood of the Martyrs. Gain 1 miracle dice at the end of any phase in which your unit with this conviction was destroyed. Additionally, add 1+ to hit rolls if one of the more models have been destroyed. So this is essentially like, if you decide to just do all Blood of the Martyrs, you would get just that bonus. If you decide to do the Stoic Endurance, which is the various hearts, models in this order ignore AP -1. They also have +6, feel no pain against wounds. Oh my goodness. So what that is...
Well, they say women have a higher tolerance for pain. So it makes sense.
So this is a lot. So say you're using a bolter that does have -1. Against these people, that takes it away. So now they have their 3-up normal save, whereas before it would be a 4-up save because of the -1 on the AP, right?
Let's break this down in action movie terms. That means you can shoot them and they will keep coming after you.
Exactly. And on top of that, even if you wound them, even if that wound gets through and you break it on a 6, they don't feel that. And they don't take a wound and they continue marching forward. The Daughters of the Emperor, +5 save against mortal wounds. In addition, when performing an act of faith, you can disregard an additional miracle dice to make one of the miracle dice use a 6. So you can take a miracle dice away and say, that's a 6. And on top of it, a 5+ feel no pain rule against mortal wounds. So mortal wounds, as you all know, you get no save against mortal wounds. You don't get an invulnerable save. You don't get a regular save. You take that wound to the face. Not with the Daughters of the Emperor. They get a 5+ save against mortal wounds. And there's a lot of things out there that do mortal wounds, man. Trust me on this.
So you could have fewer Sisters on the field and take on more Marines or more Orcs or whatever.
Yes.
So, wow, that's incredible.
Huge Eldar and huge Chaos Slayers right here. That's boom. The Ancient Shroud, deeds not words. When a unit with this conviction advances, it can fire ranged weapon as if it has not moved without advancing. So with the new 8th edition rules, if you advance with advancing weapons, you can't fire, obviously. Or, I'm sorry, unless they're assault weapons, you can't move, advance, and fire them. And if you do, it's a -1 to hit, because even though they're assault weapons, whatever. With this faction, you can even move with heavy weapons. In other words, move again, and then still fire that weapon. So this is a very mobile army. This can be a very mobile army if you need. Very good against Tau. Very good against the Orc speed freaks. Very good against anybody that's super mobile like that. Eldar will have a very mobile army. Dark Eldar. Very good against that. And last but not least, the Sacred Rose. This one I think is going to probably be one of the ones that's going to be used a lot, besides that one that I told you, the Feel No Pain one, and take the negative AP away. The Devout Serenity. No more than one model can flee due to a morale test. In addition, if you perform an act of faith, roll a d6. On a 5+, you gain a miracle dice back. Lastly, units hit automatically on an Overwatch of 5. Can I tell you right now, as a Tau player, how important Overwatch 5-up is? So Overwatch now in this game, any unit in 8th edition, as some of you all know, but remember, I'm trying to also teach my partner here.
I'm listening. Oh.
Overwatch, any unit can fire Overwatch one time,
right,
and that's it. But you need to hit 6s. So yeah, I might have 20 shots coming at a unit charging me, but I need 6s. You'll be surprised how often, when you change that from a 5 from 6s, how much you hit. 5s and 6s show up a lot more than just 6s.
Wow.
And that's And that's talking bolter fire. That's talking Gatling fire. You're almost talking Tau level fire with the Tau Overwatch. That's impressive. I really think, like I said, I think this is the faction, the Sacred Roads, the Sacred Rose, the Devout Serenity is going to be the one faction that I see being used a lot just for that. So we're going to break down some of the new models, obviously. I had some pictures that I sent.
Oh.
Do we have the first one? The first one is the Pentient Engine. Now, these, if you guys know the Space Marines, they have these things called dreadnoughts. And a dreadnought essentially is a warrior that has pretty much died in battle, and they put him in a sarcophagus and threw him in this big giant droid destructing dreadnought supreme armor. The sisters do it a little differently. Essentially what they do is they take this, it almost looks like a frame of from Aliens there, and they just strap these people into it. One of the biggest things is when this, oh, here we go. Nope, it's not really floating in. Nope. It's all right. We'll modify it and we'll get them up there.
We'll post some pictures.
Yeah, we'll post some pictures in the aftermath of it.
We'll do it in post.
There you go. I like that. So one of the biggest thing about the Patent Ninjas is they were not dreadnought-like. They were supposed to be dreadnoughts, but they didn't have the toughness and the abilities that the dreadnoughts of the Space Marines of their superior cousins had. That changed. Biggest improvement comes with the flail weapons, which you, when you see the pictures, they have the huge flail weapons as well as these shooty attacks. Making it, so these flail weapons make it 3 hit rolls for each attack. That means up to 12 attacks at strength 6, AP -2, 1 damage each. You get all that for the price of 56 points. And
I was about to ask about the point cost.
And you can take up to 4 of these bad Larrys in one unit. Okay? Now that is 12 attacks. And if you have 4 of those guys in there, right? That's 48 potential strength 6 AP -2 attacks. And that's just over 200 points. I'd say you have a pretty good, nasty little thing there. Modifiers.
Wow. These are like very Silent Hill looking when you really look at them. It's like it's very horrific.
Oh, they did a great job, man. That's why I want to get some of these pictures up there. And if you guys, the video that we posted, a lot of the new models showed up in there too. You'll see a lot of those models. So the modifiers, dependent, you can obviously do the heavy bolters. And yes, you can modify to the heavy flavors too, because why wouldn't you? That's a free shot. No ballistic skill at all. It has a ballistic skill and a weapon skill of 3. Yeah, Tau players were, that's, 3 is good. My bad. So it's literally a Space Marine, Sister of Battle, doing the thing. Movement of 9, you can take, like I said, up to 4, and then upgrade one of these to an Archerite with a 3+ save for only 6 more points. Also, the base model has heavy bolters. The modifier also has the Adepta Sororitas keyword, which it can do all the things that the sisters can do. And it has the Embodiment Prophecy, which allows you to re-roll wounds of 1. So if you roll a 1, you pick that little bad Larry up and re-roll it again. Obviously, you roll a 1, again, you don't get it. The Exorcist. I have loved this thing for a very long time. The Exorcist, it's pretty much... I'm
assuming it's effective against undead.
Everybody. All right, Games Workshop has been listening to everybody's feedback on the beta thing from this. Essentially, the Exorcist missile launcher is... the Sister of Battle's idea of the Whirlwind from the Space Marines, only a whole lot nastier. The missile system's been upgraded to a heavy 3D3, strength 8, AP -3 with a damage of D6. It also gained a new weapon option called Exorcist conflagration rockets. Heavy 3d6, strength 5, AP -2, and damage 1. That is awesome. Now, if you want to take out heavy hitting things, you hit them with the Exorcist missile launcher. If you want to take out a small group of little bastards there, you want to use the conflagrate. So it's pretty much a frag. They end up giving you the crack version and the frag version. You can't beat that. They've been asking for that because the Exorcist before was just straight damage, big damage. They never had the frag version, and people have been begging for that for a very long time. They finally get it. The Retribution Squad is back, but let me tell you what, they're better than ever. It's pretty much they're the sisters' version of the Devastator Squad. They got the Faithful Advance. This is no penalty for moving and firing heavy weapons. Don't forget, if you don't have a modifier and you decide that you want to move with a heavy weapon, that's -1. So now all of a sudden your ballistic skill of 3, you need force to hit. Not with the sisters. You can constantly move these forward and not take that minus to strike. They also have the Rites of Fire. Add 4 inches to the range characteristic of that weapon. So
get out.
So you're talking 36 inches for a heavy bolter. Now it's 40 inches. 48 inches for a las gun or las cannon. Now you're talking 52.
Good luck getting near these girls. Like, this is amazing.
Right, exactly. They also have gained the option, which is the Orium Cherub, which allows you to fire a Retribution's weapons twice instead of only once per battle. And I'll get into those because those are pretty nasty itself. The Sentinel Squad. This is pretty much the veterans of, the veterans idea of the Space Marines. The Protectors of the Cantonus, as they're also called. They can be equipped like the Sisters of Battle Squad, 1 special weapon and 1 heavy weapon. What sets them apart, however, is the base attack and the weapon skill 3 is the Sworn Protector ability, which lets them re-roll attacks while within 6 inches of the Canoness, which they're supposed to protect. They also have the Bodyguard ability, which allows them to intercept an attack on a 2-up or better. My drones have this on the Tau, and let me tell you, dude, it is one of the greatest. So if somebody has the ability, like a sniper, to point your special character on a 2-up, you can say, no, I'm going to let her take this. I'm going to let her take this instead of my...
Wow.
Yeah. So they're essentially their bodyguards. They're the sworn bodyguards of the Cantoness. And they get to re-roll misses as long as they're within 6 inches of her. So why wouldn't you have them there? The Zephyrum Squad. I love. These are like the close combat hungry. They just want to rip things with their hands.
So they're bare-fisted?
No, they're not bare-fisted, but they're wolfing essentially. They are just battle hungry. They just want to get in hand-to-hand combat. That's their thing.
Chain swords, that kind
There you go. Think of them as the veteran set from 2 attacks each, 3 for the leader, the superior, armed with a bolt pistol and a power sword. A bolt pistol and a power sword. So that means AP -3 for that power sword. And a strength, that would have a strength 3, I believe, but they might even be 4. I'd have to look. They have the baked-in ability to re-roll wounds. Okay, so even if they have a strength 3, you get to re-roll the wounds automatically. You miss, you pick it up.
These are hard to kill.
No, they're killing you. That means they are re-rolling. So say I'm facing Chaos, toughness 4, strength 3. I need 5s. Mm-hmm. So I got a squad of 10. That's 20 attacks, 21 attacks, 3 because of the other one, right? All power weapons. I need 5s. I roll like crap. I only get 5 of my 21. The next scoop I pick up again, though, I get 6 or 7. Now I got 11 -3 AP shots going to a squad of 5 Space Marines, Chaos Space Marines. You're failing. At least 3 of them are dying. I'm telling you that right now, if not all 5 of them.
Wow.
That's a nasty hand-to-hand group right there. Nasty hand-to-hand group.
I've tangled with Chaos before. It wasn't easy.
The Diaglus is pretty much, I think this is their Psyker. She's gained the Stringic Rectic ability. When you perform an act of faith, a model within 6 inches of her can increase or decrease the value of a miracle dice by 1. That's okay. So yeah, she's like a test of faith type thing. So with the miracle dice, you can add or you can minus. So in other words, the way you would minus it, obviously, is the AP.
Yeah.
If you use a miracle dice to take away somebody's AP, now, just with her ability, it would be an automatic 2. Just with having her out there, and she's within 6 inches of the person using the miracle die.
Where's that Amazon link?
The Imagifier has been given a complete overhaul. She now has the Lineage of Deeds. At the beginning of the battle, when you set up this model on the battlefield, you can choose any of the following tales. So she's like the librarian. She holds the history.
Right.
If you choose the Tale of the Faithful, you can re-roll Deny the Witch tests within 6 inches. Once again, destroying psychic. You're destroying psychic abilities. Tale of the Stoic. Weapons with an armor penetration characteristics of -1 now count as 0. So
this is like if you were playing one-on-one with Michael Jordan or LeBron, and they just keep going stuffed.
Tale of the Warrior. Add +1 to the strength. We just talked about this. Them having a strength 3. Now guess what? You put her next to them 6 inches. Now they have a strength 4, toughness 4, re-rolling wounds.
Wow.
Yes. Battle Sanction. Sister of Battle get their own special terrain feature. The biggest benefit that you gain in additional miracle dice is you can have any Adeptus Ministrum units within 6 at the end of their start phase. So essentially, you can pretty much make anything out there a terrain feature that gives you the plus benefit of having cover. So instead of cover 1, it'd be cover 2. And you just pick it just because she decided to read that tale.
Wow.
And the Cantoness, of course, is back for all intents purposes of your HQ kicking ass abilities. She's here. The Blessed Blade. Oh, my God, people. Are you ready for this?
You see this? You see how happy he is right now? Look at it. It's like he's reading a love letter from a girl he had a crush on for years. Strength
+2. So once again, we're taking away the fact that they only have a strength 3.
Yep.
But now she's hitting on a strength 5. AP -3, damage 3 sword, or D3 sword. So that's D6 split in half. That's just the sword. The Braziers of Holy Fire. Think of this as a one-use flamer that does D3 mortal wounds on a 2+ to any enemy within 12 inches, shooting during during Overwatch. So when somebody decides to attack her, she can fire this flame in Overwatch, and you're doing D3 mortal wounds on 2+. So the only way you're not doing a mortal wound is if you roll a 1 with this flamer. Don't charge her. Also, if you happen to be a demon, you suffer 1 from leadership, and it's D6 mortal wounds instead of D3 mortal wounds. So demons definitely don't charge her. Lead the Righteous. Love this. She's always had this beneficial. You always want to keep her close to people, obviously. Reroll hits of 1 for attacks for friendlies within 6 inches of her. So anybody within 6 inches of her, it's just like having Bobby G for the Ultramarines out there. If you're within 6 inches of her and you roll a 1, reroll it. Rod of Office. Add 3 inches to the range of the Lead Righteous ability. So remember I just said as long as you're within 6 inches of her? No, add 3 inches to that. So as long as you're in 9 inches of her, you get to re-roll 1s.
All right, this is my turn 1 against the Sisterhood. I offer you a draw.
I know, right? And the Null Rod. If the model has a Null Rod, which I imagine you're going to give it to her, it affects... then it cannot be targeted or affected by psychic powers. So you can't even smite her. You can't mind war her. You can't take away her armor. You cannot do a psychic ability to her.
Wow.
At all. In addition, whilst any models from your army have the Null Rods and are within 18 inches of a Psyker model, subtract 1 from the psychic tests that they do. And Deny the Witch. So if you're within 18 inches of the Cantoness and you're doing a psychic ability, you're minusing 1 from that. And if you're trying to deny her psychic abilities, you're minusing 1 from that as well.
If you're listening on audio, I'm just sitting here in awe at these stats.
She is gnarly. So New character alert. And this is, I sent this pitch. Dude, is she not beautiful? Judith Aruta, I hope I'm saying this right. She is essentially floating on, it's like a presidential beacon or something. I don't know. It's so hard to explain it.
It's like a crazy altar.
Yes, there you go. And the double-breasted eagles right on the front. I mean, it's a beautiful model.
Oh my God, this is insane.
Yeah, and what she is, she represents the leader of the Order of the Martyred Lady. As such,
Side note on this model, and some of you listening home, you notice the Joan of Arc type haircut.
Yes.
As soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, this is definitely Joan of Arc. Yeah. This is beautiful.
So if you bring her out, you have to. She is the leader of the Martyred Lady. So she grants re-rolls for both hit and wound rolls. So she's essentially Bobby G. There you go, within 6 inches. Also, she improves the invulnerable save from a Shield of Faith ability by 1. So if you have not the Cantonist, there's another one out there that improves the Shield of Faith. So you start off automatically. Everybody has a Shield of Faith. It's a 6. Everybody, your whole army has a 6+ invulnerable save, right? Mm-hmm. You can use her, and as long as somebody's within 6 of them, now that becomes a 5+. There's another person out there that adds to that as well. Now you have a 4+ invulnerable save for your entire army within 6 inches of her. Yeah. So even this guy admits that when he first ran the entry, he was expecting a hell of a lot more. But hear me through this. Here we go. The Censer of the Sacred Rose. Gain a miracle dice at the start of each turn. So those miracle dice that you treasure so much, you run her, you get one every turn. And that's with everybody else that might happen to give you a miracle dice as well. Instant miracle dice right there. Sacramentum of the Ebon Chalice, which is, I think, the thing that she's holding up that's on fire. At the start of your shooting phase, roll a d6 for each enemy unit within 6 inches of you, adding 1 to the result if the enemy is a psyker.
So this makes flanking hard.
Yes. And then also add 1 if the unit is chaos as well. So if you're a psyker and a chaos, now you're getting +3 against it. 1 at 5+, the unit being ruled. Okay, so all right. So it starts off as a 5 on a 5+, D3 mortal wounds. If you're a psyker, on a 4+, D3 mortal wounds. If you're a psyker and chaos, 3+, 3D mortal wounds. If you're just chaos, then it goes back to 4. So once again,
if you're at the cons and you show up with these, there are going to be people wanting to leave the table.
Probably. Take your psychers away. Just nice. Bring some veterans out there. That's all I can say. Petals of the Bloody Rose. Add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by a melee attack by models of the Adepta Sororitas within 6 inches of this model. So once again, if you have a unit, and let's go back to that unit that has, remember, the 2 attacks.
Yep.
3 if they're the leader. 21 attacks if you run 10 of them. Have them within 6 inches of her. Now it's 32 attacks. Strength 3, power weapons, AP -3. And if you also have the Cantonist in front of them, don't forget, now you add the strength to that.
Now, you said you can have, certain factions together.
Yes.
Now, do some of these bonuses apply to non-sisterhood?
No, they do not.
So if you have, so if a squad of Terminators is with the sisterhood, they don't get those bonuses.
Right, they do not. It would have to have the keyword Adepta Sororitas, and they'll have it. Whereas if you go to a Terminator, keywords would be Adeptus. What the fuck?
Is it Terminus?
Adeptus. No, Adeptus. I'm saying Sororitas is stuck in my goddamn head. Adeptus. The fucking Space Marines. God damn it. But what it would be, so their keyword is Adeptus, whatever, just like the IG is Militaranus or whatever the fuck it is. All the keywords is broken down. in that aspect. So you'd have to have that keyword to have these things happen. And don't forget, once again, if you do
Adepta Sororitas.
Thank you, motherfucker. I was like, I know it starts with A.
It's funny. I've been playing that Terminator game, Space Hulk, and they say it a lot.
All the time.
I was drawing a blank.
All the fucking time. One of the big things, like I said, if you do decide to split the faction, now you're taking away these big bonuses from having a straight Sisters of Battle army. Remember, I told you that there's these, like if you do the straight with her, it's the martyr. The martyr
Because
rose.
I'm still like the stats are great. I'm still seeing heavier firepower though.
Oh,
as
yes.
Marines, but the bonuses and the attacks, it's
it really rounds out. It really gives you.
It's like for what the firepower lacks, the pluses, and the bonuses, and the penalties playing certain characters. It's like. So if you are going to play Eldar or Chaos or whatever, you're going to.
I mean, the fact that you can't even target the Cantonist for a psychic ability. Now you've taken every aspect of what the Eldar is nasty at, and you've taken it away from them.
Yeah. So if you're a good player, now you got to start rethinking your strategy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you're serious about this game, you're already salivating. I want to fight him.
Fuck yeah.
I want to take him on so bad.
Yes.
Because obviously I'm joking about calling for a draw and stuff, but like you're like I'm already thinking in my head like how would I take them
you would
on?
have to
because obviously I'm partial to Space Wolves, so it's like if I was fighting
and
the
they're
Sisterhood,
hand in hand.
it's like all right, how would I take them on? Like I know the certain pluses to the wolf. It's like how do I apply them to somebody like that? And obviously, like I said, flanking's tough. There's no rushing, no charging. It's obviously not going to work.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're going to have to play it safe.
Right. But, I mean, you also have to play on the strengths of the Space Wolves, and you do have to get as much rushing in there as possible and hit them hard. And hit them before they hit you. Right. I mean, that's just going to...
Well,
same with Khorne. Same with Khorne as a hand-to-hand based army,
I'm probably giving away secrets here, but right off the rip, I'm just like, they'd be vulnerable to the Howl.
Yeah.
Because I think the Howl negates some of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And you can rush that way.
Right, exactly. But that's also a reason why a lot of the times the Space Marines don't face the Sisters. It's very dire circumstances.
Well, obviously they're part of the Imperium.
Right, exactly. So but it happens. It has happened, and it will happen.
Right.
So continuing on.
Rogue factions.
Right, exactly. So she also has the icon of the Valaris. Valaris, thank you, Hart. Once per phase, you can perform an act of faith for friendly unit within 6 inches that has the act of faith ability, even if you've already performed one in that phase. So these act of faiths...
See, that's the thing. Like, I'm like, God, there's no limits to a lot of their stuff. It's like they can just keep doing it and doing it.
It's really interesting to see how they're going to go out in the field. And then last, but certainly not least, she has the Sacrament of the Ardent Shroud. When you perform an act of faith, which we just said she can do again once you've done another one, you can increase or decrease the value. Once again, she has the ability to increase it by 1 or decrease it by 1, just like the Cantonist.
Clearly, like you can tell right off the rip, they're almost a religious order.
Yes.
So a lot of the faith-based talents they can repeat probably because of it. They probably spend all their time mastering these prayers or whatever you want to call them.
Right.
So. God, yes, so good, so juicy.
And once again, my friend here says, of course, number of relics active decreases, the unit degrades, but it has a 4+ invulnerable save, -1 to hit. That means you're trying to shoot, it's -1 to hit this. Probably because the weird field or whatever. And you're going to want to keep, obviously, the Hospitalier and the Centurial near this to keep it healthy because it's still a thing. But for all intents and purposes, this is a big fucking buffing machine. You keep that there next to some heavy hitters, and they're...
Now, some of the Tyranids, like the Magus and things like that, so would they be vulnerable? It's still psychic, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
so it's considered psychic?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to run them, man. They don't want to be around here. So they can do... the several Sisters can take on the Sacrament Imperius upgrade. Old school Sisters players will remember this fondly as the girl with the birdhouse. But she's one fantastic model. It's got a brand new pose. She just came out. What does it do? It lets your unit perform an act of faith, even if you've performed one act of faith already. Once again, so you can have 3 acts of faith going 1 turn if you do the right fucking the right calls. Incenser Cherubs, which I talked about earlier. Here it is. It's a new upgrade available to the Sister Squads, Domination Squads, and the Celestial Squads. They grant this ability. Once per battle at the beginning of the phase, the Incenser Cherub can intercede. If it does, that Cherub is removed from play, and you gain a miracle die. Roll D6 when you do so, and select which one to keep. The miracle die can only be used as to perform an upgrade faith for that unit, and only in that phase. At the end of the phase, if the dice has not been used, it's been lost. So you can essentially take one of these little cherubs, these little flying babies, take it away, and give yourself a free fucking miracle die roll right then.
It looks like the model, too, you can do it one of 2 ways, with or without the mask.
Yes.
So
I love when they
cool.
do that, dude.
Yeah.
The masks are beautiful. They are.
And let me point out, too, I noticed like all of the sisters share the silver hair color.
Yes, they all do.
You know?
There are ones that have black, but they're very rare, but they all do that silver. They're fucking beautiful models, man. They're absolutely beautiful models.
You know what? There's a little subtlety to that too, because they say like if you ever experience God or something like that, your hair will turn like ghost white.
Oh, good call.
So you got a very, very religious faction.
Good call, man.
Obviously in touch to whatever gods the Imperium.
Yeah.
I mean, they're always obviously the Emperor's.
The Emperor's the big thing. Yeah.
So if these sisters are that close to the Emperor.
Yeah.
It would make sense. Because a lot of the upper tier Space Marines, their hair is also silver.
Yes.
There's a lot of silver haired characters there. So,
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
good call, man. I like that. Yeah. That's a great call. Some other major changes some of you old sister players may know or not know. The Mistress of Repentis has been renamed Repenta Superior. Yeah, so there you go. Dominion squads can no longer perform their Vanguard move while embarked in a transport. They kind of took that away from a lot of armies, though, so that's not... You guys didn't lose anything there. The Crusaders now have a 5+ Feel No Pain save, and the save is against mortal wounds in the psychic phase as well. So that's a 5+ Feel No Pain against anything, including mortal wounds. Pretty cool, man. The Death Cult Assassins are back. I love the Death Cult Assassins. Oh, my God. With power swords, a 7-inch movement, weapon skill of 3, and 4 attacks base, they're going to be fun to use again. I love the Death Swords. I do. They're so much fun. So I think that is... Oh, let's break down some Warlord traits real quick. And, of course, everybody knows every faction has Warlord traits, usually about 6 of them, and it makes your Warlord special, unique, and it's... just makes them that much better, as if they couldn't get better already. Here we go. Beacon of Faith. At the start of your turn, if this warlord is on the battlefield, you gain 1 miracle die. The miracle dies are going to be game changers. These are going to be pretty much like a command point on crack. That's what I'm going to call it, dude. It's literally that. Indomitable Belief. The invulnerable save friendly infantry models received from the shield faith is increased by 1. Here we go again. So remember how they all start with the 6+ invulnerable save, the shield of faith. Well, now if your warlord has this ability, this is automatic. So anybody within 6 inches of it now has a 5+. And then if you have the floaty. What's her face? Judith. Yeah. If you have Judith, it's funny. Judith is like Judge Judy. She's floating around. Yes. If you have her out there, now they have a 4+.
You know, now if you play her, you're going to be using her voice and stuff.
I will too. I'll tell you what. But now they have a 4+. Fucking invulnerable. That's just insane. Power of Will. The warlord can attempt to deny 1 additional psychic ability. Oh my God. And they get to subtract 1 from their dice roll. So automatically, I'm going to guess even your weakest one can deny 1. So now if you have this warlord, that's 2. And some of them even have 2 to begin with, so it makes it 3. That means you can deny 3 psychic abilities. Not only can you not target maybe that person, but now they're denying up to 3 psychic abilities from you too.
Wow.
That's pretty freaking nasty.
So you gotta get really lucky to even get off any psychic attacks on these things.
Yes, exactly.
Really, really lucky.
Exactly. And then order on the Eben Chalaris, Terrible Knowledge. If this warlord is on the battlefield, a miracle dice you gain at the start of the battlefield is 6. So you have to roll a 6. If you roll a 6, you get a miracle dice back. Once again, if the army is battle forged, which that's pretty much your basic 2,000 point armies now, you gain D3 command points as well, and start with 6 miracle dice. That's a pretty big start. And last but not least, I have, I do have some strategies about that, but we have some of the relics here. The Blade of Admonition replaces the Blessed Blade, so now it's a Strength +2, AP -3, but instead of a damage D3, it's a straight flat 3 damage. You know who does that? Bobby G does that with his sword. Straight up 3. So every time I hit you, 3 damage. I hit you again, 3 damage. I hit you again, 3 damage. That's 9 points of damage coming your way. And that's only from 3 attacks.
Now, what's your average damage on, say, like Chaos or...
1. 1. Or sometimes you get these, like a Power Fist, D3.
Yeah.
So you're taking away that D.
But that's a D3 max. This is an automatic 3 no matter what.
Right, exactly. Brian has the Titan Eldar. He is a monster beast motherfucker. He does the max damage. 6. No D6. 6. He hits you with that sword. It's 6 damage. Just to give you an idea. He's this fucking big. It's a Titan.
Yeah.
And here's this little warlord doing 3. As much as Bobby G.
That's crazy. And
it's a sword. So there's no negatives to hit. You're hitting on a 3 and probably a 2 because she's your lord. So you're hitting on 2s. You're probably wounding on 3s or better. You're re-rolling those because you get to re-roll failed hits and wounds. That's sick. Flat damage? Yes. Yes,
drooling.
please.
He's
I'll take
drooling,
that.
folks.
I'll take that.
He wants it. Look at that.
The Brazier of Eternal Flame, we've talked about this before. When the psychic test is taken from a model, 18 inches, you subtract 2 from the result. Ooh, damn, instead of 1, so it's 2. That's big. Wrath the Emperor replaces a bolt pistol, range 18, pistol damage is pistol 4, which means you fire 4 shots. Strength 5, AP 2, damage 2. 4 shots. Strength 5, -2, damage 2. You could potentially do 10 wounds. Or 8 wounds. I'm sorry, 8 wounds. That's a pretty nasty bolt pistol. That is a fucking nasty bolt pistol. Lineage of Faith. Once per turn, a model from your army with this relic is on the battlefield. You gain a miracle dice. You can re-roll that dice. If you plan on using miracle dice, obviously use this guy. It's a bargain. I mean, you up to 6, the same idea. Stratagems. There are 38 stratagems in the new codex. We're not going to go over every single one. I'm going to grab some of the ones that were pretty cool in my opinion. Stratagems, if you guys, obviously, the one thing I love about 8th edition is the new addition to stratagems. And what that essentially adds to the game is before it used to be me against you, whoever lives wins.
Unless you set a goal.
Unless you set a goal, right? And that's so hard. But what stratagem does now is you start off with cards. And as your turn goes, you start off with a set amount of stratagems. And these are specific goals that you need to achieve during the game to get victory points for. As you complete it, you get victory points, and they go towards your total victory points. The one game that me and Alex and everybody played, that it came down to that one dice roll, that was using stratagems. That's why we were so crazy and all over the place, because our stratagems was making us go different areas.
This is the one you did the video for?
Yes.
So you folks can watch that on the YouTube channel.
Yep. And what a great ending that was. That was incredible. So obviously, open the reliquaries. Pass out an extra relic for 1 point. Everybody has this. But before, some people, it costs like 3. I think now it's only 1 regardless. You can only go up to 3 relics, but instead of it, before, if any other faction does it, it's 3 points total. With this, it'd only be 2 total, it looks like. Heroine in the Making, 1 command point. Select a character model from your army, except for the Warlord, Celestine, Junith, and the Triumph of St. Catherine, and give them a Warlord trait. So you can have a Warlord out there, with a warlord trait. And then for a command point, you can give a character, just the regular character, a warlord trait. So you have 2 warlord traits out there. That's big. That's pretty fucking... For 1 command point, that's a steal. That's a freaking steal, yo. Moment of grace. 1 command point. Use this strat right after making a hit or wound roll for an attack made against or by one of your Adepta Sororitas models from your army. After making a savings throw from your Adepta Sororitas model from your army, discard D3 miracle dice. Add 1 as a result to your miracle dice you discarded. So essentially, you can make a reroll. You can essentially reroll for 1 point a wound. That's not super big. Whatever. Divine intervention, 2 points. Ooh, this is gonna be good. Use this when a character model is destroyed, other than Junith, Jermaine Superior, and Catherine. Before any miracle dice are gained from the result, discard 1d3 miracle dice at the end of the phase. Return that model to play with the number of wounds equal to the number of miracle dice you discarded. You can only do this once per character. So if you have multiple characters out there that aren't those other ones, you can do this again. And you have to place them as close to where they died as you can. That's for 2 points. That's an instant resurrection.
Wow. That's
pretty cool. Devastating refrain, 1 command point. You can re-roll the type of characteristic that the Exorcist Missile Launcher does. Okay. I'll have to see how that works in game, but it sounds like there's a reason why it's there. Purity of Faith, 1 command point. Use this after an enemy psyker manifests a psychic power within 24 inches. After that, you can roll a d6. On a 4+, the power is resisted. So it's instead of rolling 2 dice to deny the witch and try to beat the power upright by them, you can just take this ability for 1 point and say, I'm going to deny it on a 4+. And if you roll a 4+, it's denied automatically. Cleansing Flame, 2 points. And Order the Ebon Chalice. Use this stat when the Order of the Ebony Chalice units from fire, they fire Overwatch or choose to shoot until the end of the campaign. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, essentially, for 2 points, if somebody charges you, Overwatch, we talked about this before. Remember how important I said 5+ is on Overwatch? What this does for 2 points is this instantly turns any weapon you're firing into a flamer characteristic. What is a flamer characteristic, question you ask? It means it automatically hits. You don't roll ballistic skill. So if you have a rapid fire bolter squad and you are trying to assault them for 2 command points, they can make every bolter shot hit you automatically. That is 20 bolter shots automatically hitting you. 20 automatic hit. All they got to do is damage you for 2 command points. That's pretty fucking big, dude. That is fucking big. Like I said before, Sisters are largely a toughness 3, 1 wound, 3+ save army. Yes, they can have a 4+ invulnerable save. Yes, you can have great combat. But the problem is with Sisters is you need to keep them collectively together. To enjoy all these bonuses, you have to protect these canises and you have to have these special characters out there. So that's really big. These miracle dice and these acts of faith are going to be huge, but you have to be careful. If you use them too soon, just like command points in 40K, you'll find yourself flat-footed and without anything else left, and that's where they can take advantage of you right there. Another big thing, they're like Space Marines. There's not going to be a huge amount of models out there. There's not a huge, say, way of making a horde Sisters of Battle army. So every model that you have out there is going to have to perform to its max, and you'll notice if you lose something early, it's going to be nasty. But like we said, that's pretty much everything I got coming in. I got some points. Here's some points here. This is really cool. Cantonus starts off as 59 points. That's not bad. Celestine is 160. The Triumph of St. Catherine is 185. The Germain Superior looks like you have 2 of them. That's about 40 points. A Sister of Battle Squad, he has he put up about 6 of them, 444 points. That's not bad for 6 squads. That's
for what you get though.
Yeah.
At any point price league, these are worth it.
Sisters Repenta, 52 points. Hospitalia, 35. A Magnifa, 45. The Penton Engines, which we hit earlier, 56. The Mortifier, 112. And that's got 2 heavy bolters, a patent flail, patent buzzblade. That's new. I got to see what that does. Retributors with 4x4 heavy flamers, 114 points. People, that's automatic hitting. And I believe it's D6. So that's 4d6. If you roll good, that's 24 automatic hitting shots, strength 5, AP -1. Nasty. The Inferno Pistol Squads, Blood Angels. You know what those are. They're pretty much meltas on a fucking stick. We love these things. For those guys, you're only looking at about 118 points for 2 of them. Each unit is 59 points. Dude, can't beat that. Sororitas Rhinos, 67 points each. The Immolators, about 110. So, pretty much, that is the rundown for what you're going to be looking for the new Sisters of Battle. The models themselves, like I said, we're going to throw up some of these pictures. If you guys get a chance, just go up there and say 40K 8th edition Sisters of Battle, and all the new models will pop up, from the new patented engines to the flagrants that are out there, even the sisters themselves with all the little pieces and all the great, like,
yeah, if you saw the video, they're beautiful.
All that stuff. The books are there. All these little pieces that you could put on them to just make them your own characters, man. 40K is, in Games Workshop, has done a great job with really making a lot of this kind of affordable. We talked about Welcome to, the Army. And for $90, go on our website right now at Amazon. Find your faction. The Sisters of Battle will be having their Welcome to their own faction. $90. Probably will have a Rhino in there. Maybe an Immolator. If it has the Exorcist, oh my God, I'm on the same page. You know it's going to have a couple squads of the basic sisters in there. Probably a squad of the Flagrants, and I guarantee you a Cantoness is going to be in there. All for $90. I'll tell you, when I got the Tau one, I was super shocked. I ended up getting, it was the leader, a power suit, 3 of the actual little guy power suits, 3 of the stealth suits, and 12 fire warriors, all with the drones. $90. Did you do that? You do the math. That's over $160. Easy. They're getting better. I want them to change the prices, obviously, but it's never going to happen. Let's be honest.
Yeah, honestly, they put too much detail into these things. So
Nowadays,
a lot of times the money's worth it for what you get.
And we talked about the way that the paints are now. They make anybody really good. These washes that are out there, they get in the crevices. They make these paints specifically to be painted on these models because they make these models in mind with their paints.
And keep in mind, if you just want to play the game, if you're not into the collecting, you can print out little paper deals and play the game if you want, if you're just into the strategy of it. But the models, the painting of it, the investing into it, the history and everything, that's what makes these games so appealing.
That's what makes 40K exactly that. It becomes more than a game. It becomes the hobby, it becomes the game, it becomes everything that you are a part of, essentially. When you have your army painted out there and you don't, say, use a faction, say you don't use the Blood Angels as a Space Marine player and you want to make your own faction and you paint them any way you want and you have your own shoulder design, your own icon, and your own names, when you display that and then you start telling your story about your army, dude, I guarantee you there's not one person that you're going to be facing is going to be like, dude, that's lame. They're going to sit there with awe in their face that you named all these guys, you painted all these guys, you made this, and you might inspire them to do something like, oh my God, my guys look so vanilla now. And like,
to add a little competitive edge to it, there's something intimidating about a guy that's there with their, or girl, with their well-painted army ready to go, and it's like, this person's serious.
Yes, exactly. Like, and even if they are butt hump on the game, you know, like I said,
that's like your black belt.
Yes.
You paint it. That's your black belt.
Yes.
You're in competition. That's like, this is legit. This is the big time.
No, exactly.
And I think the sisters are just going to make this game so much better.
They're like I said, they do have a toughness of 3. They do have a strength of 3. You know what I'm saying? They're much like IG, but they're not superhuman. They're not meant to be these genetically modified super soldiers. They have faith in their belief. And that's what makes them strong. Yes. And with these battle rights and these miracle dice that they're talking about,
great equalizer on the board.
I think you're going to see a lot of sister players. Number one, because they're just a really cool looking army. They're so unique. They are so unique. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you have factions out there that have women. You know, obviously the Dark Eldar, they have their witches, and the Eldar have their banshees, and even the Guardians. You know, because they're a dying race. Half of them are women, and half of them, Dire Avengers, same thing. Half women, half guys. To have an entire faction be about women and to make them as going through these powers, they did them justice.
Oh, this is fantastic.
They did them justice, man. I'm really, and like I said,
I'm scared just hearing about it.
If you don't have a psychic army, the sisters have an answer for that. If you're running speed freaks against these guys, they have answers for that. They can move and fire. They have answers for any army out there. Are there weaknesses? Absolutely.
Oh, of course.
They're all about sticking together. You can't really spread this army out, much like a Tau army. I can spread that army out because I have the numbers. You're not going to have the numbers with the sisters. It's going to be like the Space Marines. It's going to be like your Wolves and your Dark Angels out there. You're going to need your heavy hitters to hit hard.
One of the things I was noting as you were talking, I'm just like, okay, these are very susceptible to, you know, if you take out the leader, you know, the scattering.
The bubble is gone,
right.
Like we call.
So you burst a bubble, and there's a chance you're going to retreat. So one weakness you can exploit, throwing it out there. But other than that, it seems like such a incredible army. I can't wait.
It is, and like I said, I've seen some incredible paint jobs already. Go to Games Workshop, and you'll see some of them. Obviously, the classic all black with the red trim. That's one of the first ones. I've seen people do a rose. I've seen the blood red one. The all white with the pink freaking outline. I mean, people are going to town on these. It's absolutely beautiful. And like I said, it's almost when they have their full masks on, it has almost a Judge Dredd feel. You know what I'm saying? Because they have the cross there, and the full mask just kind of covers like here. You can still see the.
You can
the
definitely
bottom.
Tell the Inquisitor inspired.
Exactly.
Chapter. So
I really like what they've done here. We've been waiting for a non-model, a non-metal sisters for a long time. They teased us for a long time that it was coming out, and here we are. We finally get this thing, and I got to tell you, man, the new models that they did, and the new characters that they even brought out. I mean, just when you think Games Workshop can't. I mean, did you see Brian's new god, the Eldar god?
No, I haven't.
It's like swirling up, and it's like this tall, and it's like half of its face is exploding out this way, and the other half is like beautiful Eldar. It is a crazy model. And just when you think they can't top something like that, or just when you're awe-inspired by the fact that Bobby G is actually on the tabletop now, they come out with this. And they come out with, like I said, the Exorcist is just an incredible looking. All it is Rhino that looks like somebody's playing an organ, but the organs fire these fucking deadly missiles that just destroy worlds. You know what I'm saying? It's a very gothic, very holy feeling army, and well painted and put out there. It's going to be a beautiful looking army. Going to be just the contrast from, like I said, the flagrants, the half naked women out there, and the Peninsula engines that have, they just look like these giant.
I did notice like the only men in this army are like bound.
The Inquisitors.
Bounded. No, I mean with the.
Well, those ones,
bounded up
yes.
and like.
Yeah.
Like,
but other than that, they're the Inquisitors. And those guys, the Patent Ninjas, are the Inquisitors and the Psychers that failed.
Yeah.
So they fucking knock them to these things.
See that? They send you to the nuns. If you're bad, they send you to the nuns.
They do. They actually do. That's
fantastic.
Fucking great.
I love it. I love it though.
So that's our breakdown on the sisters. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I know the first time we did 40K, we just kind of did a little introduction, and I think some of our hardcore 40K fans out there were hungry.
They want more.
They wanted more. So I gave you more. I did a lot of homework with this. I was super excited about this. This is one of those new armies that I think it's like when the Custodians first came out, everybody used them. 3+ invulnerable save, the bodyguards of the Emperor. You know what I'm saying? But I tell people this. When are they ever going to be used besides if they're protecting the Emperor?
Yeah.
It's not like these guys, you'd see them out on an orc, world. No, they're supposed to be on Terra. They're supposed to be protecting the Emperor. You wouldn't see these guys anywhere else. The sisters, like the Space Marines, they travel. They go out there. They do this. And these...
Now they do.
Right. And these women are the living embodiment of the Emperor himself.
One day they were just like, screw this. You want something done right.
You put on the battle armor, sisters.
now they on the ship. It's fantastic.
It is cool, like I said.
I'm looking forward to it, folks. If you get this army, show us your complete army.
Oh, yeah. Hit in the comments below what you plan on doing.
Yeah, I want to see I want to see the originality, what you plan to change. Maybe you don't like the silver hair. Maybe you're going to go with something else.
And you can. I've seen people give them all red hair or, all black hair.
I've seen people give some of them scars and stuff like that. Or yours going to be more battle-worn? Or are you going to do the pristine, fresh out of the convent kind of thing?
Right.
I want to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited. Like I said, these guys started off as a faction, just something that you can add to an army here and there. And then they became known as the Witch Hunters, and you had a little bit more during that, during the 5th edition. But when they decided, look, we're going to make a faction, and we're going to make the sisters an actual, real, whole faction, I think they did the justice, man. I really feel like this time around, like when the sisters first came in, metal models were huge. So like that's why we got what we got. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
But when they went back and they decided they're going to redo the entire line plastic, I'm glad they took their time with the sisters because, the Space Marines will always be their Mario. It's always going to be their Sonic. That's their face.
The whole thing is really about the Emperor and the
Emperor and the Imperium, right? And the story, as corny and old school as it is actually really good. Brother versus brother, fantastic. the fall of the Emperor.
And look how far it's come from humans versus orcs. Like that's where it started.
Good call.
And now it's like.
Or even Space Hulk, man versus alien. The classic Gene Stealer versus the classic the Terminator.
Yeah, this thing really made the Terminators popular.
Right, exactly. Those things were huge too, and just the fact that a Gene Stealer could just run havoc on the tactical dreadnought armor like that. Now this shit is like this thick, man. Come on, these guys can barely walk.
Claws like that big, like the size of my head here,
dude. Oh my god, I love the lore 40K. I love playing 40K. Thank you to my man to this day, Scott D'Agostino, for introducing us to this game. I know we didn't get it for like almost 3 weeks and you were really frustrated. But at the end of the day, baby.
It's become a long time thing.
Yes.
And here we are now.
And here I am. I got Brian playing. We got Jake playing. We got people I never thought would play Warhammer. Playing Warhammer, dude.
You got your son whooping your ass.
Oh, my God. Go to the forums there, basementquest.com. Read some of them stories. Leave us some comments there. Oh, man. We have such a great time.
You can find us on Instagram. We're always posting pictures. Going to post more pictures and videos. Yes. Obviously, we're iTunes or now it's Apple Podcasts. Please leave a review on Apple Podcasts if you listen.
Like we said, we don't know why they're so important, but they're important. They're the best.
They are the king.
They are the king. And if you just give us that, it gives us the traction that we need, and then we start taking off.
Share the show if you can't leave a review. We appreciate it. Or obviously. Visit the forums, get on the discussion. We like to discuss every episode, whether you like or dislike it. If you don't, if you dislike the sisters, if you think it's dumb or whatever, share why.
Drop it.
We'll see what you don't like, see how you would change it.
Right. Or if you love them, drop it. Give us the love. Give us the comments. We're gonna go off it. Our last episode that we just did was based off of a 5-star review and a suggestion from a fan, and we took that and we made a whole damn episode out of it. We're willing to do anything for that. If you guys want to contribute to this actual show itself, and if you go to Anchor FM directly
/Basement Quest. You can donate directly to the show.
Anywhere between 99 cents to whatever you want to do, and it's going to go directly to this show, and you can see the incredible things that Ed has already done, as well as the Speedway review and the Loki and Jabroni show. Ed has got his fingers in everything. Let me tell you what, this guy is always busy, man. He's always busy. But you get him all the time. Me and him on Basement Quest. That's the beauty. That is the beauty. So if you guys love Basement Quest and you love us, give us that support. Give us that love. Go shopping from basementquest.com. Get that stuff.
You can get the table of Ultimate Gaming.
We talked about this.
Use the code BasementQuest50, save $50.
$50, man.
And they know that we sent you. We do get a commission off of that. Go to Drive-Thru RPG through our website. And, every time you buy, like, the PDFs of these books, if you don't like shelling out for real books, get the PDFs, and they give us a little commission for that.
And especially, PDFs on the phone suck. But if you got a nice tablet, PDF on that is nice.
I've actually been buying all my old Palladium books now on that PDF, so I have them, like, right there. And,
see, that's cool.
Honestly,
that's so worth it, too.
Yeah. I mean, I still get the books just because I want the books.
Right.
But it's really cool because I can zoom in, read, and, like,
yeah, you can't fucking beat that, yeah. So, guys, make sure you go on to those sites because we're gonna have we got an upcoming battle coming up. Huge Necron battle. My son is gonna use Necrons with Jake, so they're making like a 4,000 point Necron squad. I'm actually thinking about bringing back my Blood Angels. I know.
But you can't play Space Marines.
I know.
No mo.
I can't no mo. But Alex wants the Blood Angels. He specifically asked for them. He doesn't want to face Necrons and Tau.
I had fun kicking your ass last time.
He doesn't want no Tau. He don't want no Tau. I'll tell you that right now. Nobody want no Tau right now because I've made a nasty ass Tau army. Tell you what. But I am going to probably bring that, which means my partner is probably going to be Brian, and maybe just maybe Brian's going to go outside of his comfort zone and pick something new. I doubt it. I think he's going to stick with Eldar. So it'll be a Blood Angel Eldar battle versus 4,000 points of Necrons. It's going to be ugly. But it's going to be recorded, and you guys get to watch it all. So make sure you guys love us, share us, comment, and give us those reviews. And if you want to just contribute to the show, by all means, please do so. We love you all very much. We love the support that you've been giving us, and we want more of it every single day. From Mike,
Eddie,
and Basement Quest, we love you guys very much, and game on.
Have a good weekend. Peace.